Hello everybody, my name's Chris and I'm here to give you a very quick PanelForge tutorial regarding renaming and the panel management of your storyboard. I've loaded up a short sequence from a show we produced here called Digby Dragon using PanelForge, and I'd like to talk very quickly about how to manage your panels and to build your storyboard properly. So we have our panel timeline down here on the bottom of the screen where we can see all the work we've done so far, and above these panels we have these buttons. And these are pretty self-explanatory. For example, if I want to duplicate the panel that I have highlighted in my timeline, I just click duplicate panel and it appears where I want it to, numbered correctly. If I want to get rid of it, just delete, and there it goes. We can also duplicate a shot or a scene if required, and again, that would mark itself down in numerical order depending on the panel we started with. And if we want a new panel to start afresh, we can again click on new panel, and again, numbered correctly, it will appear, and we have our new blank panel. But we don't want one of those because we've done enough drawing already, so we'll get rid of that. So now we have our storyboard, and we're very happy with it. We've realized that there are a few bits and pieces that we'd like to change. For example, down here, I've noticed that I've got two panels that are the same, and there should be a drawing in between there, and somehow I've drawn it and put it in the wrong place. So it's very simple for me to come along, pick up the panel that I do want, which is this one, and holding my mouse button down, I can drag it across, and when the yellow bar's in the correct place, let go, and there we have our panel in the correct place. And sometimes I've noticed that maybe I'd like to change a shot around, so I'd rather have, at this moment in time, Digby here happen after the Mungo close-up. So I'm going to click on Digby, I hold down my Shift key, click the next panel, and I can pick up both of those panels, drag them across, and now I have Mungo first and Digby after. So that works really well as well. And you can do that for as many panels or shots or scenes as you would like to do. Once I've moved these panels around, I might decide suddenly that, oh, do you know what, I want these numbered differently. So I can very simply go in, click up close here, and you can see that the scene number, the shot number, and the panel number are all displayed. And I can very simply highlight what I want to change, and I'll change that, for example, to panel 12. And that's very easily done. Now we could go through and renumber our shots that way, but that would be a very time-consuming and laborious task, and we don't want that. We want to get on with our storyboard. So if I go up to Windows and I come down to Panel Thumbnails, you'll see that here I have my window, open up my Panel Thumbnails window, and in it I have all of my shots that I've drawn for my sequence. Once again, got a repeat of the buttons that I had down in the bottom right-hand corner here. So I have my duplicate panel, shot, scene, or even make new panels, shots and scenes. I can very easily do that in this window if I'd like to. So here, for example, I can duplicate that panel and I can delete it once again. So that's gone. So you can still do all of those tasks in this window. Above that, I also have my thumbnails box. And at the moment, I have the windows open that I would like. I can see my dialogue, but if I wanted to show the action window, I can click on that. And there we are. But being a terrible typer, I haven't done any of the actions, so I don't need that window, so I can take it away quite easily. The panel grouping slider here is very handy as well, because at the moment I just have a long string of panels depicting my entire sequence. However, if I quickly drag that across, you'll see that now all my shots are lined up separately, and that will make things very easy to move around as well if I needed to. And also we have these tag buttons with these colours. Now, heaven forbid you've made any mistakes, but if you have, and the director's looking at your storyboard and has decided that these two panels need attention, you can mark them as red so you can find them easily again once you open the program. And maybe when you've finished your corrections, you can mark them as green. That way, if you have your own system set up, everyone would know what needs to be fixed and what has been fixed. And if you want to turn those colours off, very simply, just go up and click the colour buttons again. Now, that's these moments that are very helpful and handy to use, but we also have the set panel's name, and this is where we can make some big differences to our storyboard. So, as you can see, we can renumber our shots. So I've realised, as I've done this, that for some reason, the episode number has gone from 111 in our opening shot, but somehow has been renumbered incorrectly as 0 for the rest. So if I highlight that first panel and come down to our last panel, I go into our value box on our set panel's name and I type in 111 and I click on episode. I say OK. There we have, you see that all of the episode numbers are 111 all the way through. So also I've realised I earlier swapped over my Mungo and my Digby shot, and that has changed the numbers of my shots. So shot 60 is now in front of shot 50. So what I can do is I can go to shot 60, I type in 50 on the value, and then I click on shot, and it will rename that shot as 50. And because it's done that, you can see the 50 that already exists, which is the Digby shot, has now jumped in to that same part of the screen as the 50 I've just named. So if I highlight these two panels and I change that to 60 and I click on shot, okay, it will once again put that down as a separate shot. So there we have it. So all our shots on the correct number. Now also, as I noticed as I go through looking at the panel numbers, all the panel numbers are all over the place. When we set up our projects here, we tend to set our panel sequence, our incremental panel names at 10. You can, if you're up in the project and you go to project settings and panel naming, you can choose your increment and you can choose from 1, 10 or 100. And we choose 10, okay? And that is because it's very simple for us to add in a single panel in between. So for example, in between shot 20 and 30, we've decided we need one more panel. We can drop in a 25 without having to renumber absolutely everything. So that gap of 10 gives us room to add shots in and still keep things smooth. However, because this is all a higgledy-piggledy mess, the best thing to do is renumber the entire sequence. Now, if I turn off per shot and highlight the entire piece, and hit set incremental panel names, we will number all the panels from 10 all the way down to the very bottom here, which is probably about 120 perhaps, probably even more than that, maybe 150, 160. And we don't want all those panels numbered in that fashion, but that is an option if you need it. However, if I click on per shot and I highlight the entire storyboard and click set incremental panel names, okay. Now our entire storyboard is numbered correctly. We have panel 10 here, going up to panel 120. Then we have panel 10 in our following shot, going to panel 50, and like on, all the way down to the bottom. So there we are, that's our storyboard all completely renumbered. So I can close those windows. Now one last thing I'd like to mention before we leave is inside the actual box themselves, you'll see this numbering here for 10 frames. You can play with your button here, your storyboard, and it will play through at 10 frames. Every 10 frames it will pass over. So there we go. There's our sequence on loop. However, if I decide, for example, that I would like this to be a short amount of time, this panel that I'm on at the moment, I can click here. I can change that to, say, 5 frames. And I can click here, and I could say change that to 6 frames. And change this one perhaps to 15 frames, whatever I'd like. Click on that and return. Okay, so now when I play back and the timeline is set to basic, if I press play, those panels will play at a different speed. Okay, now if I've decided, once I stop this, that one of those panels I don't want to see in my playback, I can click on frames, set it to 0, and return. And now that panel won't show. So if I have this, if I go to here and I go control and I move forwards through my panels, it skips the panel with no frames. So it's a very quick and easy way to take a panel out of your storyboard without deleting it. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you enjoy using PanelForge. Thank you for your time.